Racism doesn't knock politely. It storms in, loud and ugly. On this day, it stormed straight at the wrong man, a U.S. Marine sergeant, steady as stone, calm as fire, and ready to answer with more than words. Welcome to Black Community Stories. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch stories. The late afternoon sun hung low over the Virginia interstate, coating the endless stream of cars in a golden glare. Traffic was heavy, the kind where every few seconds somebody leaned on their horn, frustrated and impatient. Sergeant Marcus Reed sat behind the wheel of his black SUV, shoulders straight, hands steady on the steering wheel. He wasn't in uniform, just a plain gray t-shirt and jeans, but everything about him carried the calm discipline of a Marine. Behind him, a pickup truck blared its horn. The driver, a stocky man with a flushed face and angry eyes, swerved close enough to almost graze Marcus's bumper. Marcus kept his composure, eyes forward, lips pressed together. He had seen worse in Iraq, worse in Afghanistan. Still, there was something about the way the man stuck his head out of the window, veins bulging, that stirred unease. "You deaf or just stupid?" the man yelled, his voice cracking above the rumble of traffic. His words were sharp, dripping with contempt. Then came the slurs, words Marcus had heard before, words he never forgot. He gripped the steering wheel tighter, fighting the instinct to react. The truck swerved again, cutting sharply in front of Marcus's SUV and slamming its brakes just enough to force him to stop short. Cars behind them honked furiously. Marcus exhaled slowly, checking his mirrors, measuring the situation. He could ignore it. He could wait it out. But the man wasn't done. The truck door slammed open. The stocky driver stomped onto the asphalt, his boots heavy, his posture reckless. He marched straight toward Marcus's SUV, hurling another string of curses and racist insults. Other drivers slowed down to watch, some rolling down windows, phones half raised as if waiting for something to happen. The air felt heavier, thicker, like the whole stretch of highway was holding its breath. Marcus unbuckled his seatbelt. He wasn't the type to escalate, but he wasn't about to be cornered inside his own vehicle either. He opened his door slowly, stepping out into the sunlight. He stood tall, his presence quiet but commanding, his calmness almost unsettling compared to the other man's wild energy. The man jabbed a finger into Marcus's chest. "You think you're better than me, huh?" he spat. Marcus said nothing. He didn't need to. His silence, his steady gaze only fanned the flames. The man's fists clenched tighter. He stepped back, shoulders rolling, winding up for the punch he thought would end this. The world seemed to shrink to that one moment. The honking cars, the gawking eyes, the burning sun overhead. Before we dive in deeply, let us know in the comments what country or which city you're watching this story from. We'd love to know how far this story travels. The man's breath reeked of beer and cigarettes as he squared up to Marcus. His words slurred, but the venom in them was sharp. "People like you don't belong out here. Think you can just drive around like you own the damn road?" His spit hit the asphalt between their shoes. Marcus didn't flinch. Years of training had taught him that silence can sometimes be louder than words. He stood firm, his broad frame casting a long shadow in the fading sunlight. Around them, the traffic had slowed almost to a standstill. Drivers craned their necks to see, some with cameras lifted recording every second. The man noticed the audience and his chest swelled. He wanted this. He wanted to be seen, to make a scene. His insults grew nastier, louder, bouncing off the walls of idling cars. "Yeah, I said it. You hear me?" he shouted, circling Marcus like a dog testing a chain. Marcus's jaw flexed, but his eyes stayed steady. Inside, though, he was measuring everything. The man's stance, the sloppy way his feet dragged, the loose right hand that kept twitching like it wanted to swing but didn't know when. Marcus had fought men with better control. He knew one thing. If this man threw that punch, it wouldn't land clean. "Walk away," Marcus finally said, his voice low, steady, cutting through the man's noise. "Get back in your truck and drive." That one sentence, calm and direct, seemed to hit the man harder than any insult could. His face twisted. He laughed, bitter and ugly. "Oh, you think you're tough? Think you can tell me what to do?" His voice cracked as he shoved Marcus in the chest again, this time harder. Marcus rocked back half a step, but didn't raise his hands. Not yet. From the sidelines, a woman in a minivan rolled down her window. "Hey, stop! Don't do this!" she called out, her voice shaky, but the man didn't hear her, or didn't care. He was locked in on Marcus, blinded by his own fury. The crowd was growing. A delivery driver leaned against his truck, phone out. A teenager on a bike balanced near the curb, eyes wide. The whole street had turned into a stage, the two men in the center, every move magnified by the audience around them. The man's nostrils flared as he stepped back, bouncing lightly on his heels, his right hand balled into a fist. Marcus saw the shoulder dip, the weight shift. He knew what was coming. The man barked one more curse and swung wild, his arm cutting the air with sloppy force. The punch arced clumsily toward Marcus's jaw. The crowd gasped, a single sharp intake of breath. And in that split second, Marcus moved. The man's fist cut through the air, sloppy and desperate, his knuckles aimed clumsily for Marcus's jaw, but Marcus had already read it before it came. He saw it in the twitch of the man's shoulder, in the way his weight rolled unevenly onto his front foot. To a trained fighter, it was like watching a slow-motion replay. Marcus shifted his head just enough. The punch whistled past his cheek, grazing nothing but the empty air. The man stumbled forward half a step, off balance, surprised by his own miss. A ripple of voices ran through the crowd, shouts, gasps, someone even laughing nervously from a car window. Marcus didn't strike back, not yet. He simply planted his feet again, his posture steady, his hands still down by his sides. His calmness was infuriating to the other man. "You think you're smart, huh?" The man barked, spittle flying. His face was red, veins pulsing in his neck. He swung again, faster this time, sloppier still. Marcus slid his body to the side, controlled, his boots grinding lightly against the asphalt. Another miss. The crowd reacted louder now. A horn blared from a car behind them. A man shouted, "Yo, leave him alone!" But the aggressor didn't stop. His rage had blinded him. The third swing came wilder than the last, his fist flying so hard it spun him half around. He lost his footing, caught himself clumsily, and turned back, red-faced and panting. His eyes darted to the gathering crowd, realizing people were watching his humiliation unfold. That only pushed him further. Marcus finally raised one hand, palm open, and said calmly, "This ends now." But calm words couldn't touch the storm that had taken over the man. He let out an animal-like roar and lunged forward with both hands, trying to shove Marcus to the ground. The weight of the charge sent a wave of noise through the crowd. Tires squealed as cars swerved slightly. People screamed. and the teenager on the bike jumped off to avoid getting pulled into the chaos. Marcus's instincts flared. He braced, stepped aside at the last moment, and let the man's momentum carry him past. The stocky body crashed into the hood of Marcus's SUV with a loud metallic thud. The man stumbled back, clutching his chest, his anger now mixed with pain. Phones were everywhere now, recording every second. Marcus could see faces lit by their screens, mouths open, waiting to see what would happen next. The man staggered upright, eyes wild, chest heaving. Blood trickled from a scrape on his elbow. He looked more desperate than ever, like he had to land something, anything, to save face in front of the crowd. He let out another guttural yell and wound up again, his fist cocked back, veins straining, as if this punch would be the one to end it all. The crowd fell silent. Marcus's expression changed, just slightly. His jaw tightened. His stance shifted. The Marine was done waiting. The man's fist cocked back, trembling with rage, his face twisted into something almost unrecognizable. For a split second, everything around them seemed frozen. The traffic noise dimmed. The horns fell quiet. Even the cicadas buzzing in the distance seemed to pause. The only sound was the man's heavy breathing and the faint scrape of his boots against the asphalt. Marcus adjusted his stance. He planted his left foot slightly forward, shoulders squared, eyes locked in. His body moved with quiet confidence, the kind that comes only from years of training. There was no wasted energy, no frantic motion, just calm precision, waiting for the right opening. The punch came. It was wild, reckless, all strength and no control. The man lunged forward, his knuckles flying toward Marcus's face, his weight thrown behind it. But Marcus moved with the sharp efficiency of a Marine. His body twisted just enough to evade the strike, and for the first time, his own hand came up. The crowd erupted in gasps, phones rising higher, capturing the clash. Some people shouted warnings, others cheered, but all eyes were glued to the two men locked in this tense, dangerous dance. The man stumbled again, his frustration boiling over. He bared his teeth like a cornered animal and shoved at Marcus with both hands. But Marcus didn't budge. It was like pushing against a wall. His calmness only made the man more frantic, his swings wilder, his breath coming out in short, ragged bursts. "Stop! You're gonna get hurt!" someone shouted from a passing car, but the man ignored it. His pride wouldn't let him stop now, not with so many people watching, not with his ego hanging by a thread. Marcus raised his hands, open-palmed now, his voice steady but firm. "I don't want to hurt you. Walk away." But the words bounced off deaf ears. The man spat another slur, the ugliest yet, and charged forward like a bull. His feet pounded the pavement, his fist swinging up, his entire body committed to the strike. Marcus's eyes narrowed, his breathing slowed. For him, the world shrank into focus. The incoming arm, the man's exposed chin, the weight imbalance in his stance. Training took over. His muscles tightened, coiled like a spring ready to release. The crowd sensed it too. They leaned forward, voices rising in anticipation. Even the teenager on the bike muttered, "Oh man, it's about to happen." The man's punch cut through the air, aimed straight for Marcus's jaw. And this time, Marcus did not step aside. The man's punch drove forward, sloppy but fueled by blind fury. Marcus saw it coming as clearly as if the world had slowed around him. His body reacted with the sharp, precise instinct of a Marine trained for combat. In one smooth motion, Marcus shifted his weight and snapped his fist forward. It wasn't wild. It wasn't flashy. It was controlled, efficient, every ounce of force packed into a single clean strike. The sound cracked through the air, sharp as a gunshot. The man's head snapped back violently. His feet left the ground for half a second before he crumpled onto the pavement. Gasps exploded from the watching crowd. Teeth scattered across the asphalt, tiny white shards glinting under the fading sun. The man groaned, rolling onto his side, clutching his mouth. Blood trickled between his fingers, staining the road. For a moment, the entire stretch of traffic was silent. The horns stopped, the shouts faded, even the constant hum of engines seemed to vanish. Dozens of eyes stared, phones still raised, capturing the aftermath in shaky hands. Marcus stood still, chest rising and falling steadily, his knuckles curled but relaxed now. He didn't gloat. He didn't yell. He didn't even look down at the man. He simply straightened his posture, his silence louder than anything he could have said. A voice broke from the crowd. "Damn," whispered the teenager on the bike, eyes wide. The delivery driver muttered, "That guy didn't know who he was messing with." Someone else clapped slowly, almost in disbelief. The man on the ground spat blood, groaning in pain. But his fight was gone. His pride, his anger, his ugly words. None of it could stand against the clean, decisive strike of a Marine sergeant who had finally chosen to act. Marcus exhaled, unclenched his jaw, and stepped back toward his SUV. He opened the door with steady hands, his calmness a stark contrast to the chaos still buzzing around him. He gave no speech, no warning, no threat. The message was already written in the broken silence, in the blood on the pavement, in the scattered teeth. Sometimes the loudest lesson is the one delivered in a single second. The end. Please like and subscribe for more rich stories like this. Comment below. Also, if you really loved this video and want to support the channel directly, you can hit that super thanks button below.